I find it so odd how we live in such a sketchy time and people still find a way to be super distracted. And I understand distractions is not always a bad thing because you want to escape sometimes, but when you are way too distracted, yeah, that's not good. So the main two distractions that I see people are distracted by, I am going to address, and one of them happens to be hip hop, this whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. And I haven't been following this beef, but the only reason why I know about this beef is because it's all up and down my algorithm on Facebook and on Instagram with people constantly talking about this beef. And I'm so amazed how people are so distracted by it. And I'm also amazed how there are some people saying that this beef brought back hip hop. And I'm sorry to say, if you need two grown men arguing to bring back a genre of music, then it's clearly not music, or at least like how it used to be. And I know a lot about hip hop because my dad used to be a DJ. Him and his boys used to go to all these events and DJ and stuff like that. And I was too young at the time to go. And I used to try to like sneak in the crates, and it never worked out. But I grew up on that stuff, like the big old speakers, the turntables, all these crates of records. I know a lot about music, and I do understand the nature of competition when it comes to hip hop. So I understand it, but at the same time, I'm still like, if you need two grown men to beef just to bring back music, then it's not really music. Just my opinion. Another thing too that I wanted to point out about this whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef is the fact that I keep seeing people talking about Drake being biracial and making fun of him because he's biracial and blah 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 blah. And it amazes me to see grown ass men talking about another guy's ethnicity. I would expect more of that from women, honestly. That's more of a woman's thing. To be honest about that, not to go too deep into it, but the whole ethnicity and the looks and the this and that, I would not expect those type of arguments coming from grown-ass men. Like, there's other things to argue about, but I guess, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm just surprised. But the fact that people are getting on Drake because of his biracialness, it's like you clearly can't. I'm not biracial, but I can see that you clearly can't win on that, because if Drake was to act full on white, then people would be like, oh, he doesn't like his black side or whatever. But since Drake is embracing more of the black culture or whatever, people are like, oh, he's not black enough. And it's so annoying to see on my algorithm. I swear I've been like trying to erase all of that from like my Instagram and Facebook. And just to see that and people be so distracted by this is just so freaking weird, because we live in such a sketchy time right now. And I understand being distracted by certain things, it's not necessarily bad, especially if you're doing it on your downtime. But this is like the main thing that people be talking about from the time they wake up to the time they go to sleep, apparently. And it's just like, I just don't get it. So another distraction that I see that people are distracted by is this whole Palestine and Israel beef that's going on. And I understand that there's a lot of dangerous things that's going on over there. And I've seen some videos and all this other stuff that I think is just another distraction in a way, because I just think, in my opinion, that we cannot help other people if we can't even help ourselves. And between things that's going on here in the United States, it's just like we cannot help what's going on over there. And I've learned that with these colleges, there's these like outside organizations. I think they're called like outside agitators. I think that's what they're called. but it's like these outside agitator organizations that would go to these colleges and get these students all riled up and start these protests. And it's like it's being done on purpose if you have outside organizations coming into these colleges to prey on these students who are too young to even freaking think straight, and getting people all riled up to do these protests. And I feel like that is another distraction. We cannot help everybody else if we cannot help ourselves, especially with this migrant crisis going on right now. We can't help these people. We have a lot going on ourselves. And with these communists that's coming over here buying up our land and all this sneaky stuff going on, like, I think people should take the time out to look at the situation that's going on over here, pay attention to what's going on over here, rather than being distracted by this Drake and Kendrick beef and the whole Palestine protest in Israel. Like, I feel for them. I really do. But that's not really a problem. And I don't see, honestly, I don't really see the Jews and people from Palestine coming here and helping certain situations that's over here. All I see, to be honest, all I see is some of them coming here and building up things as if they was back in Israel and like Palestine. And I don't see them helping us. I don't see them helping, contributing to the, I don't know, like things that the Native Americans are going through. For instance, I know a lot about that because I'm in a tribe, so that's what I'm thinking right now, but I don't really see them doing things that helps the environment out here. It's just, in a way, I just feel like some groups come out here and try to do a whole takeover, and I'm not trying to like step around what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be as blunt as possible, but not like as problematic. But there's no other way around how I can put it. I just don't see them really helping out over here. So how are we going to help out what's going on over there? Like, we need to help ourselves. So with that being said, I've definitely been prepping for when shit hits the ceiling and something happens between like the food shortages and the prices skyrocketing. It's like, okay, what's going on here? Because there's clearly some people buying up our farmland and other stuff that's going on. And I've definitely been preparing, and I hope, I'm one of those people that is just like, I hope nothing's going to happen, but I still want to be prepared in advance, and I don't want anything to happen. And a big part of me thinks that nothing is going to happen, but a little part of me is just like, let me just prepare just in case. And I've been doing things like, I've been buying these books, okay? The Prepper Survival's Guide. I've been looking into this and reading up about things to do to prepare for, like how to filter water naturally and whatnot. And I've also been reading books like how to garden indoors. I've always wanted to garden, but I always figured that I need to get a house first to do that and have like some backyard space. But clearly I've been learning that you can garden certain things indoors. So I'm planning on growing like strawberries and like certain veggies and herbs. I'm also going to be using my parents' backyard space because they don't live too far from me. And I asked if I can use their space, and they said sure, as long as I keep the backyard like all nice and clean and stuff. So I'm definitely one of those people that is like preparing. And, you know, some people call me, well, have I been called crazy? Yeah, in a way. So I don't really talk to too many people about this because people, I find that some people look at people who prepare too much as like crazy. And I guess I can see how, but you know, whatever. So I've been doing things like I have my first aid kit. I got some flashlights. I got extra batteries. Like, I'm just doing like little things. And it's so crazy. One of my cousins who he moved to like Texas a few years ago. He built a house for his family and all that stuff. He's like in the military. For the past few years, he's been building like his own bunker, and he's been trying to get other family to like move down there with him. And this was like a few years ago. And I was just always curious, like, why is he building a bunker? Is there something that he knows that he's not telling everybody? I know a few other people who are doing that. So I'm just like, And I noticed the people that I know that's still in the military or like retired from the military, they move a little bit different than regular folks. They're not like overly distracted by certain things in the media. So yeah, I don't know. So I'm not trying to scare anybody or anything. All I'm saying is to just be on the lookout for certain things and not be so overly distracted by things that don't even serve you. The way I see it, like, I don't think anything major is going to happen, but it's always good to be prepared if something does happen. Yeah, I just can't find myself to be too distracted by things. It just doesn't make sense to me, but what do I know?